What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Tuman Show. Today, we're going to talk about something that nobody likes talking about, especially when you're dealing with fast cars and just driving in general, and that's safety. Why am I talking about safety now? Well, I'm going to be going up to the Good Vibes Breakfast Club, and what we have is called a hashtag, and it's called Respect the Crest. Why would you have something called Respect the Crest? Well, Angeles Crest is a public road, and yet with a lot of people driving cars out there tends to be a lot of accidents, and not just any old accidents, usually pretty bad ones. So I'm going to take you up there, we're going to go enjoy the scene, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about why this is a big problem. Okay? So stay tuned for that, and we'll be right back. Alright, we finally got some space now. And we got some speed. Nobody driving too crazy, but also nobody commuting anywhere. We had a Civic driving extremely slow, way too long, did not move out of the way, and there was about a dozen cars almost behind him. Got this M2 doing well. Not sure what happened to the RX-7. Oh, he's way up there. Main thing about this road is you drive at your own pace. If he's comfortable with his pace and he's okay with me on him like this, then we continue on. I don't feel like he's really slowing me down. We're good. I'm not flashing him. I'm not doing anything crazy. So I have no problem following him. It's the cars that are clearly going too slow that I have a problem with. And see, there you go. Back off. He wanted some space. Now let's see how I do with him behind me. So, one thing to note, this is my first Angeles Crest run since I've had the suspension and exhaust done. Car sounds amazing. M2 has fallen behind, so we just carry on at our own pace. A little too hot right there. One thing to note is I caravan with a couple BMW guys. One has a 318 Ti E36/7. I think those ones are. Correct me if I'm wrong. Probably wrong. Maybe not. But, he told me at the beginning, you go ahead of me. I'm not a fast car. I didn't want to give him a hard time about it because we both know that 1.9 M44 motor in that car is not enough power. But it's a great little car. I've always loved those. His is a very nice one. I'll add a picture here in a second. California top, DS1 wheels, some kind of suspension. For me, that would be a perfect daily. Well, for him is a perfect daily, I should say. I really what you want to do when you're out here. Ignore anybody else. You drive at your own pace. I'll see my buddies when I get to the top. And looks like I caught up to another group. Obviously, somebody slow in the front. They're driving at their own pace. I get it, but also, you know, come on, man. Now you have 4 cars behind you. I'm guessing the other air-cooled, possibly the 997, these guys are caravanning together. Whereas this RX-7 was in the front of the group I came up with. Or not even the group I came up with, just the group I ended up behind. And now he's being held back as well. Man, this RX-7 is blowing some smoke. What's the word for that? Apex seals, perhaps? But that's okay. They'll deal with it eventually. Whew. Yeah, you want to signal when you get out of the way, buddy. And there's your answer. So the 2 air-cooleds were together, and now we've got a little white brigade of let's call this a tofu sandwich. 2 white 911s and an RX-7 in the middle. Let's see what this pace looks like. One of the things that I think Porsche and BMW owners have a bad rep about, which we're getting an example of it today, is they just think they're better than other people. So, brand new M2, I think those are close to 500 horsepower. He realized that, hey, this car that's, 20 something years older than me, behind me, he wants to go a little faster than me. So, I'm gonna get out of his way. Good job, BMW owner. 1 point for the BMW owners. Air-cooled 911 saw that the cars were starting to collect behind him. He got out of the way. Air-cooled 911, point. Thumbs up. See, how do I know this 99? I think it's a 997. It might be a 991. How do I know that car is slowing us down? M2 caught up to us. So that says my pace and his pace has been slowed up because the car that we had left in the dust has now caught up to us again. So, what are you gonna do? Oh! He's signaling, he's going, and we go. Thank you. In a little later. We're heading up to Good Vibes, in case it wasn't obvious already. Maybe I'll take a video over there. Maybe I'll just bring some pictures in and give you the update at the end of the day. But yeah, let's keep it clean, keep the shiny side up, and woo! So another Good Vibes Breakfast Club in the books. Another great time. Let's recap on some good news first. So I got to drive up with one of my buddies who's got this sweet little 318 Ti. And when I say drove up, I basically ditched him like as soon as we got moving on the road. And he told me that because that's part of the rules, right? I'm going to be moving at a little bit faster pace than him. And he had a friend with him as well. And so I met them at Newcomb's because they fell behind. A lot of the cars that I was following, the M2, the RX-7, they were also leaving parts of their group behind as well. And in fact, the groups that were slower, the air-cooled 911s that we saw and some of the BMWs that got out of the way, they were traveling in groups together and they wanted to drive at the same speed, so they did. Anyways, so his car is a pretty sweet one, as I've shown you. My favorite car that I saw there was this green, I think it's Kermit Green, repainted 996 GT3. This was a former track car that's slowly making its way back to a Canyon car. I know the owner, the guy who just bought it. He didn't build it. I'm helping him kind of sort it out because he's a BMW guy and he's got a sweet little M3, and now he's got a sweet GT3 to go with it. And it's very similar cars in size, power, stature, curb weight even, but very different when it comes to driving dynamics, where you have the front rear setup of the M3 and then you've got the rear setup of the 911s and the GT3 specifically. Beautiful F12. I wish I got the sound clip of this thing. It was straight piped, sounded mean. Ferrari V12 uncorked. It was Luftgekühlt this weekend, which very much sounds like a cult of air. Anyways, the other thing that I saw is another crashed car. This one was a Corvette, a C7. It looks like he was going through the windy bits a little bit too fast and maybe kind of started dancing and then went right out. And there's a lot of pictures of this one online right now because it's the newest one that's done it. Another one that made waves was a 992 GT3, I think it was. 991 or 992 GT3, a new one. Basically tore another 911 in half. Because the guy whose car was split into two was making a U-turn in the worst possible area, and the GT3 was going too fast and coming around this blind corner, and there just happens to be a car right there in front of it. So, you know, it's not a racetrack, guys. You gotta slow it down. You gotta drive at your own pace. You gotta drive at a speed you're comfortable with, but also be a little bit reasonable. A lot of these cars have really high thresholds of where their limits are. You know, these GT3s are high performance track cars. It's not a racetrack. Take it to the racetrack. Enjoy yourself on the Crest, but respect it. Okay? So, kind of a short one. You know, I chatted a little bit too much in the driving video, so I wanted to keep this part short. But ultimately, the goal here is respect the Crest, guys. It's not a racetrack. Take it to the track. Go 7/10, 8/10 if you want on the Crest, but be careful because it's a road and it's public and anybody can drive on it, and we don't want to lose it because one of you has lost your life, and it wouldn't be the first time, and I'm afraid it won't be the last time. So stay tuned. We'll see what's next. I don't know, you don't either, so you got to stay subscribed. We'll see you then.